Hello and welcome to the fourth part of the earth-shattering tattoo project, The Unusual Suspects. And this piece is super special. I believe the tattoo I am about to show you breaks at least one world record, possibly two, maybe even three on its own. And so far, if you've got some catching up to do, I've shown you three tattoos in this project: Clever Jake, Briefcase Wanker, and Victor Boom. But now, each of those characters are individuals. This one actually ties the unusual suspect story together. There is, in fact, a plot thread running across the tattoo, and this one fills in a lot of gaps. So this is the first one I've ever had done on my left leg. It's called Cobb Kong, created by Adrian Suez at Santa Cuervo Tattoos in Green Lanes. And he looks a little bit, or I should say exactly, like this. Here we are. So we are looking at Gollum, of course, from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and a much worse one as well. And Gollum has 33 movie references on him. I'm going to go through him slowly, see if you can pick any references out before I go through them in more detail. So, Cobb Kong is named after three movies. Cobb is Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Inception. This is, in fact, the entire Unusual Suspect scene is Gollum's Inception dream. And his totem is a fish called Wanda. So he's reaching for her to get confirmation that this is, in fact, his own Inception dream. And Kong is named after two films, most obviously King Kong, and there's a little bit of a classic horror theme running through this. Quick pause to one side for one of my favourite interesting facts. Did you know that King Kong is the favourite movie of the one and only, drumroll please, Adolf Hitler? True story. You're welcome. And the other is Major Kong, the character from Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learnt to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, played by Slim Pickens. The pose of Gollum is the pose of Major Kong as he rides the nuclear bomb down to Russian ground from the American plane. So Cobb Kong, nearly called Princess Cobb Kong, I'll explain why later. Let's have a look at what's going on. We'll start from the bottom. So he's on the hoverboard from Back to the Future 2, complete with Spiral from Vertigo. The front of the hoverboard is made of the stone tablets from the Ten Commandments. Instead of the commandments inscribed on them, it's actually the diary of Alfred Borden from The Prestige, and I've substituted the sketch that he did for, do you recognise it? The Colosseum, in tribute to Gladiator. Now, Gladiator was made before the Colosseum was destroyed in an earthquake in 1349. I have scoured the internet, and I do not think there is a single tattoo of the Colosseum intact online, so this might be the first tattoo of the Colosseum since 1349 that has not been destroyed. That's a potential world record in there. They're tied together with Imhotep's bandages from the Mummy, and there is two different styles of lightning. They look the same, but this is time travel lightning. 88 miles per hour is the speed of the hoverboard. Yes, even the hoverboard can time travel. And this is lightning bolts from God, which you'll recognise if you've seen the poster to the Ten Commandments. Up here is the turkey from the Thanksgiving episode of Friends, with a fez and sunglasses. Now, the fez doesn't actually have a tassel in Friends, but my one does, in tribute to the Tommy Cooper show, and we'll revisit the turkey later. Anything for my princess? Has anyone seen The Room? This is the red dress from The Room as his tunic, hence why I nearly called him Princess Cobb Kong. There's a little patch of orange juice there. He bumped into Julia Roberts in Notting Hill and she spilt her orange juice on him. We've got the chest burst scene from Alien, but instead of the alien, it is, of course, the killer rabbit from Monty Python and the most holy of Grail. I nearly had Mr. Hanky or the groundhog from Groundhog Day bursting out, but no. Killer rabbit all the way. Gollum does, by the way, have his own tattoos. So the turkey's a tattoo on my tattoo, and this is the 42, the meaning of life from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Then he's got the Hamilton logo, and of course that's the Infinity Gauntlet, not yet coloured in. If you've been following these videos, you will know that there are still some details to be added to each. I've got a Fish Called Wanda I mentioned earlier, and there's Gollum's beautiful face. The pose is taken from the moment he gets the ring back from Frodo on Mount Doom. Little zoom in, he's got Dracula's fangs, Frankenstein's neck bolts, the heart of the ocean from Titanic, lined with the teeth from the Jaws poster. This is a little bit of an Easter egg. It's not actually a tattoo. This is the scar he received when he was a victim of the Jigsaw killer from Saw, cut out of his flesh. Right here we've got the piece that I'm guiltiest about in the whole project. Now, when I designed my original ideas for 6 characters, there were 2 that are not featured. One of them was Frank Furter from Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I decided to change him out for someone else. I nearly put the Rocky Horror Picture Show reference here on the lips on the burn book, but that was too fine a detail, so they've ended up here. Much smaller reference than Rocky Horror deserves, but you can't win them all. He's got the tattoo of the first 4 elements on Lilo's wrist from the 5th Element, the shredded heart from the poster of Love Actually. He's holding an Oscar. Not sure if you can read it, but it's the Oscar for Best Tattoo. Yeah, I won the Oscar for Best Tattoo. And he's got RoboCop's head on the Oscar. And obviously, what tattoo would be complete without a stapler in a jelly? Being a reference to the first episode of The Office, both versions. Now, I mentioned there was another record. I don't think there are probably any other tattoos in the world that have tattoos, yet my tattoo has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tattoos. And if you think that's amazing, this is definitely a world first, because the turkey from Friends has a little blue dot on it right about here, which you probably can't see at this distance. The blue dot represents the tattoo that Phoebe got when she wimped out and claimed that it was just the vision of her on Earth from her mother's perspective in heaven. But it does mean that this turkey has a tattoo. So that dot there is a tattoo on a tattoo on a tattoo, surely for the first time in history. It also tells you that the 3 depth levels of tattoo, 1, 2, 3, relates to the fact that there are 3 depth levels of inception. And if you look very closely at Wanda, it's dripping a bead of sweat, much like the police officer in Total Recall, because it knows that it is a fake Inception dream. So the Inception dream actually belongs to one of the other 5 characters. But you'll have to stay tuned to find out which. I'm 3 days away from getting the next character. It's going right here, and his name is Jimbo Jones. And then you'll have to wait a month for the last one over here before we start adding the background touches that tie everything together. So, that is the Unusual Suspects Level 4. Congratulations on completing it. I hope you're enjoying the journey. If you've got any ideas of super interesting film references you think I could add, on the off chance I haven't thought of it already, and because this is a YouTube video and you have to say, leave a comment, why don't you leave a comment? Thanks for watching. Wish me luck for the next one. Peace and love. Mwah.